after after my wife and my son went up to Laredo, uh, I did a cleanse to get rid of that man from the stairs, right? I protected myself. I had a gold crucifix. I had my rosary, and I had my Saint Benedict. And so I don't know it by heart, but I started praying in Latin, the Saint Benedict prayer. And I know that that prayer, it's a very strong prayer, especially for spirits and demons and all that to exercise them out, right? On top of that, I also did I had holy water from 7 different churches, and me thinking that by having that holy water from 7 different churches, it's gonna be potent. You know, it's gonna be very strong because it comes from 7 different churches, right? And I sprayed my holy water. I was praying throughout the house. As soon as I finished from upstairs, downstairs, I was just super exhausted. I was
You were
really,
drained.
yeah, I was just drained. I was tired. I was so tired that I fell asleep. That's how drained I was. Uh, did it work? Yes, it did. Did it come back? No, it did not come back. Will I ever do another exorcist? No. I'll do it to protect ourselves, but I wouldn't do it for anybody else because I wouldn't know what what I'm dealing with, right? And with that being said, this this girl from work, she put holy oil on me, and just I go, you shouldn't have done that. Why? Because whatever I have at my apartment, all you're gonna do is piss them off. That's the last thing I want to do is I want to get whatever it is mad. It's like if you would shoot someone with a plastic BB, what's gonna happen? You're gonna get them mad,
Hmm.
and they can retaliate against you, right? So I had my glasses case right on top of the table, and there's no way that my case is gonna move. And all I saw is it just flew and it landed on the floor. And I was like, okay, somebody's mad. What's going on? Why is this thing mad? And all I can think of is it was an evil spirit.
Hmm.
And that's all that came to my mind. So after I did the cleansing and all that, it just left. It it, it left for good. The light the apartment seemed a lot calmer, a lot lighter, uh, and a lot more welcoming per se.
Do you do you think that there was a possibility that it could have been spirits that were waiting to be dismissed so they could find their way?
Maybe, maybe. I, I, all I know was the little boy and that man that would look down the stairs, and my wife would even tell me that the man seemed scary, and so I had to cast him out.
Yeah.
One way or another, he had to go.
And while you were doing the cleanse, did you feel any sort of energies like trying to fight back, or was it just like you went through it and as you went, it just seemed more calm?
I went through it and it seemed more calm. I did call upon Saint Michael, Saint Gabriel, which are the God's warriors. I called upon them. I called upon Saint Benedict to come and help me out in this fight. The good has to defeat the evil one way or
Yeah.
another.
Yeah, of
Uh,
course.
yeah, because I don't want any of that. Even here at my house, I don't want any of that negative energy inside my house. If it's a good spirit, yeah, by all means, it is. I think that not all spirits are bad. Some of them are protectors. Some of them will give you a warning sign. You're able to say that could have been me.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes there's unseen forces that, do things that actually save our lives,
Yeah.
whether it's from a car accident, anything,
Oh yeah.
no one's guaranteed a long life and we can go at any minute, but, sometimes there's a higher power at play.
Oh yeah. Of course. The same way I believe in good, I also believe that there's also evil. And it's something that should not be played with at all. Because the same way you can open a portal, yeah, it's real easy to open up a portal, but it's real hard to seal that portal.
Yeah.
Eh, You know, um, and then um, so that was for when I first moved to San Marcos back in Laredo. Uh, I was doing security at the time in Laredo, and the earliest one. Uh, so I got sent to Dallas, Texas, right? And over there in Dallas, I was taking care of George W. Carver Elementary. So that elementary school, I did a little bit of research on it, right? And so all the blacks, the whites, the Hispanics, they were all separated, right? And that school, it was nothing but black kids going to that school. And what the white kids would do is they would do drive-by shootings. They would go, they would rape the females. Uh, some of these kids, they had a PTSD, and so one kid, he had he had three teachers holding him down because he wanted to jump out the window. So I took
Wow.
three teachers to hold them back, to restrain them.
Yeah,
So,
that's, usually when that happens, it's something bad involved because, for a child to possess that type of strength, it's something that you don't see that's normal. It's usually has to do with something demonic or evil that's has control of them.
oh yeah, and so I took pictures, right? And I've noticed on some of the pictures I took, I can see faces. I took different. I took pictures of the auditorium. In that auditorium, I would see. I can picture a little boy in a in a parrot hat with an eye patch and a little wooden sword or some type of sword kind of thing. Like if he was waiting for someone to go and see him or something. Uh, I was not allowed to go go to a certain point. You know, my gut feeling, my feeling I got, hey, you can't go past this point. This is your boundary. That's it. That's how you can walk.
It was almost like spiritual intuition where, you felt that if you went past that point, something was going to happen. Like something was waiting on the other side.
Oh yeah, no, and I really believe that things like that can something can be lurking in the darkness. Something can be just waiting to hurt someone. Uh, I don't know. I could have been attacked, but all I know. And to think, I was not gonna do a cleanse in that school. It's not my house. It's just a place where I work.
Yeah.
Why am I doing that kind of cleansing? Nobody's gonna pay me for it. You
Not
know?
just that. I mean, you're exposing yourself to, beings that you don't know what they are, especially if they are demonic. You're dealing with a higher power from the lower astral plane. And the power that they possess is a lot different than dealing with a human spirit or a ghost. So you would really be exposing yourself to confronting something that you might not have been able to deal with. And, that would have been, could have been part of what they were trying to do. They were trying to maybe attract you to go beyond that point, to maybe scare you and, cause you to lose focus and get fear into you so they could be able to attach to you. And if it were to get to that point, you would be carrying these entities with you, for whatever their cause. And
So I was there for about a month or so, and I know if I would have been there a little bit longer, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. I would probably be in a mental house. You know, it was that strong. I think if I would have been there, I would have been probably oppressed and then possessed because I would probably be on my vulnerable state by then. And I know that something demonic has its rules, and they have their steps that they need to complete. That they'll feed off of fear. Once they get so much fear, they have all that energy because that's what keeps them living. They live off of fear, and then on top of
yeah,
that, their energy. So I wouldn't know how long they've been roaming, how long they've been doing this. Then the next step would have been oppression. I would have, I could have been attached and oppressed, and then by the time I know it, I could have been possessed.
yeah, yeah, definitely. It's possible. And there's movies about it and documentaries and all sorts of stuff, but to actually see it and live through it, I don't think that's anything, people would want. Of course, people that go through it, it's not that they do it intentionally, like, hey, come possess me, I want to get exercised. Um, but you definitely do see things like that on the internet. There's people that think it's not real, that it's staged or it's mental health. And, like the medical field has advanced so much that they can detect if it's, mental issues a lot better and a lot faster than before. And it's a lot easier for them to rule out a mental illness now than, 20 years ago or 30 years ago. Um, and one thing that they don't really speak of, and some research that I've done on my end, is that exorcisms that are a higher rate now than they were 20, 30 years ago. And, this isn't something that's out there that they're making news reports about, the Catholic Church getting requests to do exorcisms or, fathers from churches trying to help the families go through it, or getting permission from the Catholic Church, or however it works. I'm not really sure how that works on that end, but it's out there, and they're
Yeah.
not talking about it, but it does exist.